I'm really excited to be here at the Your Fix TV studios with registered naturopath Lynette Hill. Kia ora to you, Lynette.
Kia ora.
It is the first episode of Health Bites for 2018. We're really excited to be with you guys tonight because we're here to have a live chat with you and talk about all things gut related. Because we are live tonight as well, if you've got any questions at all, feel free to message in and say hi. I've got a computer right here with all of the streams on there. You're more than welcome to ask Lynette any questions about your health or any concerns you might have and be part of the conversation. And while we're going, we want people to message in and share the stream. So if anything's resonated with you, be part of the conversation and share this with your family and friends so that we can get everybody on board and help everybody with their health.
That's right. There's so many people who need to hear this message.
I totally agree. So first up, before we even get started, I thought one of the things that I've learned is really about what a naturopath is and what a naturopath does, because it's kind of a little different. So I thought if we could start tonight by you telling all of the, or everybody watching, what does a naturopath do?
So this is something that I get asked quite often. People sitting right in front of me look really horrified that they're sitting in front of a naturopath and they really don't know what to expect. So as a registered naturopath, I have a degree in natural medicine, and it's a degree based in science. And so of course we learn all of the things that we should learn, anatomy and physiology and pathophysiology. And we also learn a lot about chemicals and pharmacy. But what we're trained to do is to look at preventative medicine, to look at our diet and our lifestyle, the things that might be making us unwell. So medicine looks at what is your disease and what do I treat it with, which is fabulous. We need that.
Yes,
we look at how do we get the body to respond better, be more healthy, work more efficiently. And sometimes that's alongside traditional medicine, and sometimes that's all on its own because there is no need for medicine at that point.
Now, excuse me for being rude, by the way. I am actually listening, but I've also got my phone here. So if you're on a phone tonight, you can actually click the share button and you can share this video into groups. You can share it you can copy the link and share it onto your own timeline. You can write a post and share. But I'm actually in the process of just inviting all my friends in whānau because I know how important tonight's topic is for our health. We're talking about your gut tonight, and this is a really massive topic. It's helped me so much with the transformation of my own weight. So if you're following me on Facebook, I've lost more than 40 kilos in weight. Most importantly, I've lost weight and gained my health. And that's something that's one of the reasons why I'm so passionate about working with Lynette and tonight's show. So I want to say hello to Alison Leonard. Good to see you on tonight's stream. To Maria Shanko. Good to see you as well. Feel free to share this and, of course, to invite your friends and family to be part of the stream. Now, I guess one of the first things we really have to talk about is that can you diagnose disease on tonight's show?
No, absolutely not. I can't diagnose disease. I don't diagnose disease as a naturopath. We look at your whole health. A doctor diagnoses disease. So it's really important if you ask me specific questions, I cannot give you any recommendations, but I can see you in clinic if it's important, or I can put you in touch with somebody else.
Absolutely, and we have a disclaimer that legally we have to share with you. So this show is not intended to diagnose, treat or cure any illness. Basically, we're here to open up your mind to other options when it comes to your health, to be brave enough to ask those questions of your healthcare provider and to seek alternative information if you're not happy with your current provider. This is really what this whole show is about. It's about giving you bite-sized tips of information so you can feel empowered when it comes to taking control of your own health. Right, so let's get into tonight's show. Keep sending questions, by the way. I, for some reason, can't see a lot of things happening on my newsfeed. Normally I see when everybody pops up, so I can't see that tonight, but the questions will show up if you do share them. So first of all, we're talking about the gut tonight. How important, when people come into clinic to see you, how important is gut health? I mean, if they're coming in for a cold, if they're coming in for maybe high blood pressure, how important is the gut in overall wellness?
Well, basically the gut is such a huge part of our body. So everywhere from our mouth to our backside, there is some involvement with our gut there. So what goes in,
of course,
eventually comes out. that's all through our gut. So it's massively important, and everything else seems to hang off it as well. So you've got liver health and kidney health and, you know, all of the other aspects.
Yes.
So the gut is probably about 80% of what we're looking at. And of course, we're looking at everything around it. But I would say even just with the conditions that people come in with, that would be about 80% working around the gut. So it's very important.
Okay, so when I've been having a look online, because, you know, I Google a lot of stuff, some of the things that keep coming up are things like IBS, IBD, and leaky gut, which is some of what we're going to talk about tonight. What IBS as an example, what is IBS? Because lots of people in the forums I'm in for weight loss and wellness online, they're talking about IBS all the time as if it's a disease.
That's right.
What is it?
Well, we're going to have a little video up shortly which is going to really explain that, but it's not a disease. IBD is a disease, but IBS means you've got a cluster of symptoms, which means your gut is not comfortable. You may have diarrhea or constipation or a combination of both. You've got bloating. You might, it's the feeling of indigestion. You know, I eat food and it just sits there, and you know, you've been to your doctor and told, look, you've had, you know, tubes up you, down you, you've had blood tests done, there's nothing wrong. If you've still got those symptoms, it's often then labelled as IBS.
So welcome to the last 25 years of my life until the last 6 months when I actually changed my diet and got some help from Lynette. If you are really struggling with bloating, if you maybe eat carbohydrates and you have to have a sleep afterwards, if you get brain fog while you're at work, even at home, if you're really struggling with diarrhea more than just once, every so often, something's going on with your gut. So we've prepared a little video to show you what could be happening and what IBS really is. Let's take a look at that video right now. The symptoms of IBS are recurrent abdominal pain and abnormal bowel motility, including diarrhea, constipation, or a combination of both. Bloating may indicate gut permeability or leaky gut syndrome. IBS is different to IBD. IBD is an autoimmune condition with inflammation and even ulceration, causing serious damage to the bowel and must be treated medically. Leaky gut is a condition in which the lining of the small intestine becomes damaged, causing undigested food particles, toxic waste products, and bacteria to pass through the intestinal walls and flood the bloodstream. This may be the cause of abdominal discomfort and bloating. Don't panic. A leaky gut doesn't mean you have holes in your gut. Rather, your gut is not as healthy as it should be. If you are concerned with your own gut health, contact us to find out more. My Remedy. It's your remedy. Well, we are talking about a big topic. We're talking about IBS, the symptoms that you saw in that last video, what could be happening. We're talking about IBD, touching on that tonight as well. And we're also talking about leaky gut. Before we launch into that though, I have to say a big shout out. Hi, Lynn Nolan, Annalise Fisher, Katie English, hello to you, good to see you. Simrat Gill, good to see you. I did see Moninda Singh, I hope I said that right as well. It's a big topic tonight. We're talking about your gut health, and it seems the gut is the second brain in the body that kind of does all the thinking for you when it comes to your health. So tonight we're going to talk to you, I guess that's a good way to describe it.
Yeah, it is.
So tonight we're actually going to talk to you about what could be happening with your gut, some triggers that might be affecting your health, and what you can do to transform your health, like I did and many of your clients as well, Lynette. Exciting. So first of all, we've talked about in that last video about IBS, and for those who've just joined the stream, can you just recap on what IBS is?
Okay, so IBS is changes in the bowel, abnormal changes. So you may have bloating, diarrhea, constipation, combination of both, and just really feel unwell in your gut, particularly after you've eaten.
Excellent. So if that sounds like you, please get in touch with Lynette. We're going to share the details of how you can contact her. Unless you're watching via the My Remedy page tonight, then you can send her a personal message and have a chat and activate that conversation. Do feel free to ask questions while we're live tonight, by the way, because, you know, that's why Lynette's here, so you can pick her brains as we go live. We are going to talk about right now some of the triggers that can actually contribute to why you might be bloating. I know this has been a really big topic with some of my followers as well, and they may not be some of the common things you think of. So no, we're not going to just be gluten and wheat bashing tonight. It is so much broader, and I've learned so much in the preparation of tonight's show. So let's take a look at the first trigger, Lynette. Let's talk around this. So it says there, poor diet, low fiber, high saturated fats, high sugar, and processed foods. Can you just share some information around that and why that might be causing discomfort?
Sure. So all of those things, and every now and then is a bit of a treat. I'm not going to challenge your gut too much. But if you're consistently having low fibre, you're not giving your bowel enough fibre to soak things up and to make a good stool. That's really, really important. If you've got too many fats, your poor old liver is struggling to deal with that. Too much of a good thing is a bad thing. And you're constantly just working at your gut, and you just loosen off those little tight junctions that you saw in that video that are meant to sit lovely, lovely tight together. But when they're constantly irritated by the wrong thing, they can start to loosen off.
And we don't want that.
Yeah.
Of course, and so all of that stuff goes out through that lining, doesn't it? And it would be activated in our bloodstream.
Well, some of those really small particles, so gluten, a lot of people have got what are called, like me, luckily, cast iron guts, and I can eat
you are so
stuff.
lucky.
I am so blessed. That's one thing I've got going on right. But, I can eat relatively broadly. But if I was to eat wheat, and constantly challenge it, eventually my gut would throw its hands in the air and say, that's enough. I'm going to have to loosen off and let some of those tiny little proteins go through, because I can't do it anymore. I'm too irritated. So yes, we actually have quite a lot of responsibility with the food we put in our mouth.
So that's why we call it leaky gut. Because it actually is leaking. Yeah,
and it's not like you've just poked holes in it, but just it's just the ability for proteins to pass into the bloodstream. So it's not quite holes.
Okay,
but
perfect, excellent. It's more, what's the word? Porous.
Yes, it's permeable. Is the word that we use for it.
Right. A big hello and welcome to the show tonight, Sandra Giles, who's watching from Blenheim.
Oh.
Good to see you. Raja Chetan from Kashmir in India, and Sandra May from Whangaparaoa, I think it is, or Orewa. I hope I got that right.
Somewhere.
I just got a thumbs up from Pete, the producer. Okay, excellent. Oh, Raja, finally. Good afternoon, Lynette. Subject of information discussion is, thanks for asking there, Raja. Tonight's discussion is in fact about your gut health. So this is a big one. It really affects your whole body system. I know you like to eat clean, and of course you know the effects personally of when you don't eat well. So that's what we're discussing tonight. And if you feel like it, please throw some questions Lynette's way. So we're looking at trigger number 2 tonight, and I know a lot of people mention when they come in to talk to you, we can hear sirens outside, when they come in to talk to you that they eat really healthy, so they should be healthy as well, right? But let's take a look at the second screen here. So one of the triggers can be as simple as the impact of your diet. So the impact of a lot of my followers, they tell me they can't eat cruciferous vegetables, or they struggle with lectins, grains, legumes, nuts, potatoes. Chickpeas has been a big one as well. What's going on there? What's actually happening when people can't digest these foods?
So some foods are difficult to digest, and legumes for some people are really difficult. They're very, very fibrous, or a lot of people will have heard of the FODMAPs diet, where they're fairly difficult to digest, little carbohydrates in there. So it could be a digestive enzyme issue, or if you've had a chance to have a look at the GMO video that we've got on the My Remedy and the Health Bites Facebook page, it gives a really good explanation of some of the changes that we've made to our food. Makes them really difficult for the body to recognise, and therefore know what to do to digest it.
Gotcha.
And if we're constantly, again, if our gut's not 100% happy, these foods are more irritable to you. So if your gut was fine, you're a child. I could eat cabbage when I was a child, and now I can't. We might want to look as a naturopath at, well, why not? What's happened in there? What else are you eating? How healthy is your gut? Is it irritated? Have you constantly got things aggravating your gastrointestinal lining and causing those little junctions to open? So it could be the
Very
food, or it could
interesting.
be your gut.
So even if you think you're eating really healthy, if you are struggling with bloating or diarrhea, or you're getting that brain fog, or you just don't feel well, chances are it could be something like symptoms of IBS, or it could be something really aggravating your intestines. Speak to a health professional. That's a great place to start. Okay, let's talk about the next point here. So the next trigger on the list is actually something that I didn't factor into the equation. It's chronic stress. So if you are in a stressful position and you think you eat well and you exercise well, but you're constantly bloated, you're constantly on the toilet, you're not coping well, something could be going on with your gut. Lynette, let's talk into this a little more.
The best way to explain this is the fight or flight syndrome that most people have heard about. So if you're stressed, you get a shot of adrenaline. So you've got some high cortisol going on in the body. That is totally fantastic. A little bit of instant energy.
To do,
yeah,
right?
That's right. And that's okay now and then. But if you're constantly stressed, and you're stressed when you're eating and you're eating on the run, it's a little bit like the exercise picture. You're not going to be digesting that food. Your body's going, well, I'm eating the food, and she's driving and talking and worrying about the next place. Well, let's just dump the food really, really quickly and get it out because I haven't got time to digest it.
Yes.
Or
immediate evacuation, I call that.
Or do we loosen up the gut, let some of the pressure go out into the bloodstream, and then you have, your pizza coma after, which doesn't help you with all the stress you're under. So if you're constantly doing that to your gut, again, you really are changing your microbiome, which is all of the flora and all the good things that happen. And you're also just taking away the opportunity for digestion. So,
wow, of course, because your blood has to do other stuff in your body.
Absolutely, that's right. And I do talk to my patients about being mindful. We've got a brain, and when we put a plate of food in front of us, first of all, make friends with that plate. That food is to, feed you, and we're so fortunate if we have a plate of food in front of us. But also when we look at it and take the time to actually look at it, not just, hoover it. Like my teenagers may do. You can see what needs to happen. Your brain can mix the chemicals up. You can smell it. You can make amylase in your saliva.
Oh, yes, that's really important.
Absolutely. That's your first digestive enzyme. And your brain can get to work and go, oh, there's potatoes and there's carrots and there's protein and there's this and there's that and the next thing. Let's get all the enzymes ready and give your body time to digest that food.
Now, I know in really stressful situations, so if you've just joined the stream, by the way, shout out to Bobby Joe White, Tracy Marie Huia, Jane Wan, Leonard Matthews. Good to see you guys. I've been on a weight loss journey of my own and a wellness journey for the last, in particular, really focused over the last 5 to 6 months. And one of my biggest areas that I really struggled with was actually around my belly. So over the last 5 or 6 months, I've actually lost 10 centimeters of 10 centimeters off my belly alone, which is huge. Like that much.
That's
quite a lot. 10 centimeters, I don't know how much it is.
A huge amount.
So it's changed my whole measurements. One of the key things, aside from changing my diet and changing, getting out and going for a walk, has actually been trying to find time for that mindfulness.
Yeah.
So what is the connection between lowering your stress and maybe belly fat? Can that contribute?
Well, stress releases cortisol. And cortisol is like a steroid. And when you're constantly in that release, you will find that that weight goes around that mid area. It's one of many factors. Also, if you're not digesting, you may be struggling to break down the fats, and then they may be stored in some of the areas of your body rather than digested and excreted. So
there you go.
Yeah, there's quite a few
all the time.
Yeah.
So chances are, if you've got a bit of stress going on and you've got a little bit of this going on, there could be some sort of link. Again, speak to a health professional, chat with Lynette, even PM me, message me. I'm more than happy to talk to you about anything to do, particularly in the weight loss and wellness arena. Okay, let's talk about the next one. Now, I've just got into exercising over the last few months for the first time. This is really new and exciting for me. But how much is too much? Why can over-exercising affect your gut, Lynette?
Well, again, we've already talked about taking the blood away from the gut to your arms and legs so that you can race around and do stuff. So that is exercise. And also, depending on what you're doing, you need a lot of protein to come in to build those muscles. And, you know, if you're not eating enough protein, you're not putting all the good things in, your body might start to, you know, oh, well, there's a bit of stuff, you know, a bit of muscle here I could take, a little bit of calcium and magnesium from bones and muscles.
Yes.
So your body will use itself quite sufficiently. And a lot of people are very, very, very good at exercise, and particularly a lot of the elite athletes I see. They are so driven and they're so naturally competent, but really if they're not supplementing and getting the extra nutrients in there, they will be using their body. And we do see a lot of cases of autoimmune conditions post-exercise, you know, difficulty healing. There's lots of people that don't get to their competition because they've ripped something or torn something.
Yes.
So exercise is not just taking away and keeping the cortisol high, it can also be using some of the goodness from your body. And I really, with all of the athletes that we work with in our clinic, we really encourage decent supplementation, and we look very closely at their diet to make sure it's providing as much nutrition as possible, extra nutrition.
So I've done a lot of study into mental wellness as well. So I hate even saying the M word, but our inner wellness up here, let's just put it like that. And one of the things that I've learned also on my own journey is the effects of adrenal fatigue around that. Not only did it affect my weight, but it affected my mind and my mental health. Are you seeing some of that with your athletes as well? Or even just everyday people who are doing too much?
Actually, I would say that is our modern dis-ease, is that we don't know how to switch off. If our diet's not adequate, if we're so stressed that we can't sleep, our body very quickly goes, well, you know, you didn't sleep very well, you didn't feel like breakfast this morning, and I've got 8 hours to do, so I'm going to need some adrenaline. And, you know, and we feel great, and you get that, I'm flat, I'm high, I'm flat, I'm high, and we do that all day. And that's fine now and then. But if you're going to keep doing that, your body's going to go, so we use adrenaline, do we? I mean, what does it matter what she eats as long as she's got some adrenaline? So we can see that hyperadrenaline, and that's very, very anxious, heart palpitations and starting to get gut stuff.
I did that, and I had the gut to go with it. It's not a nice place to be.
And then you'll also remember
the crash, that's right, which was also diagnosed as glandular fever.
Which you may have had as well. And glandular fever is another thing that really upsets the gut and the liver. So that's a lovely combination you had there.
Thanks. It wasn't a nice time. I was very tired, I'll just say that. So as you can see, stress has a big effect on our gut. So let's get a little bit deeper into the gut. Now, the next screen says bacterial imbalance dysbiosis. By jingos, by hokey, that is a big term. What does that even mean?
So that we're talking about dysbiosis, which means the microbiome is not balanced. And naturopaths are all about the microbiome being balanced. So we're talking about the good bacteria and the bad bacteria. And we need both. You need the bad stuff to do this, you know, to beat up viruses and break things down. But if you have too much of it, it actually almost turns on your good bacteria. So it is a real juggling act. And a huge amount of our immune system is actually in our gut. So our gut is like a giant sponge, and it's full of all this bacteria and things that are going to engulf. I know,
but it's very helpful.
It is. So it's sort of like a microbial sponge, and it engulfs a lot of bugs and things as they come through. So, you know, not only do we digest in it, but we also engulf things that are not so good for us. If our balance is out, and we've got, you know, bacteria that's having a party in the corner growing mushrooms, we're not keeping on top of our bugs. And that's often one of the first symptoms of it, is not doing so well with small things like colds and flus, and not getting over things.
Right, so your whole immune's kind of struggling.
We're relying more on our blood cells as opposed to this great big immune system we have inside. And one of the other clues is people start craving sugar, and that's when we really know that there might be dysbiosis. Just, you know, give me more sugar. Feed it.
Okay, comment that's come in from Raja. Hello also to Michelle Reed, who's watching tonight. Good to see you. And Liz Jury, lovely to see you on the stream. Liz, this is a topic that we need to talk about. gut health we're talking about tonight. Feel free to ask questions of the expert Lynette Hill, registered naturopath. Okay, Raja's just messaged in and said, Lynette, isn't balanced diet all bodybuilders need? I guess prolonged use of protein can cause a bit of problem on the kidneys, except that I drink 7 litres a day. What's that, of water or protein?
Hopefully water.
Hopefully water. I'm following a balanced diet with an increase of protein and fibre. What are your thoughts on that? So he is in that position where he is doing a bit of bulking up, growing muscle.
But we also know he's doing it right. And I'm saying he because I'm going to get your name wrong otherwise. Right. So it is about getting the balance. So yes, he's got the water and he's got the protein, he's got the balanced diet. So that's fantastic. And that should be enough. But it is not always enough. Okay. Sometimes it's necessary to pop some magnesium in there to help your muscles recover.
And relax at the evening, right?
Yeah, that's right. That's right. And also, if it's working well for you, great. That means your body is able to live that lifestyle. You digest protein, no problem. Your gut is probably pretty good to start with. But a lot of people come in and they may not be healthy to start with. They start exercising without addressing their diet, and they're already in there before they start to really consider what they're eating. And that can be a situation where you've already done some damage. So every case, and as a naturopath, we spend 90 minutes with people. So we're not treating, you've got leaky gut, therefore you must be doing all of this stuff and it must be wheat and it must be something else.
You're more of a detective, right?
Oh, absolutely. We nut things out and we find out when did it go wrong, what was going on, and what else is involved. It's never just one thing.
That's so cool. Thank you, Raja. He said, by the way, you're both looking radiant. Well, thank you, Raja. Very kind of you. Now, another question's just come in from Bobby Joe. Now, Bobby Joe has been doing some great work with her own health because she has been taking some great condensed nutrients. I've been following you in Facebook, so congratulations to you. Now, she's just said, I have Hashimoto, autoimmune. Since hitting 46, I now have leaky gut. A great question for tonight. I've been gluten-free for 8 years and go to the gym 4 times a week, but I'm still struggling with weight loss. She said, I take a thyroid tablet, vitamin A, B, and D. I have magnesium at night and C, but I'm really bloated. What are your thoughts? That's a big one.
This is something that we deal with most days, where people have made their changes in their diet and they've worked out that gluten's not helpful, particularly with autoimmune. It's really going to trigger that all the time. Sometimes people need a little bit more work. It's the same as with the athletes. Fantastic, well done that you've actually already removed all of those things, but it may be that your gut is still not healed. It still may need some work done on it. It might be that there's a digestive enzyme issue, so no matter how wonderful it is, if you're not digesting, it could be the stress issue, that you're not relaxed when you're eating, or you're even stressed about eating, which doesn't help, and that becomes a cycle.
I've had that problem too. Yeah, that's a hard one.
And also there are, and again, this is where a naturopath is really trained to delve into it. There are very specific probiotics. So sometimes as someone with an autoimmune condition, we will put probiotics in there designed to dampen down the immune response. So to improve the humoral response, which is the blood, so that the gut's not having to do so much of the immune work. So it's very, by the time we start getting into disease that we are supporting, it's really specific.
Yes.
Yeah.
And the great thing about naturopathy, my father was a naturopath, so it's something I grew up with as well, is it is a really good companion to traditional medicine as well. So even though you may be treated by a GP, it may be worth your time popping down to Browns Bay and having a chat with Lynette, and even doing a hemoview. So they actually do a live blood culture, they look at your blood and they look at what's going on, because that's a great way to actually see what may be causing inflammation. That's
right. And I just pop in here and say, actually, all of our naturopaths at My Remedy, this is what we're trained to do.
Great.
There are 3 of us who look at the live blood, so we can see exactly what's going on, and it's available to everybody in our clinic. And that's something that Where's naturopaths? That's our bread and butter, excuse the pun, but that is, so all of us are, highly trained in how to look after these gut issues.
Yeah, and
not
it's
just
so
me.
cool when you see your own blood on the screen and they can tell you what's going on. It's really cool. Worth having a chat to Lynette about anyway. Thank you so much for that. Good evening to Karen Teague, who's watching tonight. Hope your recovery is going well as well, honey. And Raja's just said, oh my goodness, that's so thoughtful about magnesium. I didn't know about that. All I did was pop multivitamins.
Yay, we taught him something.
Yay, that's what tonight's show is about. Now, Matty Blythe is also watching tonight and said, hi, Lynette.
Hello, Matty.
Matty, I'm so pleased to see you on the stream tonight as well. Honey, if you've got any questions, I know you've been transforming your health at a great rate of knots. So proud of you. But do feel free to pick Lynette's brains while we are on the stream tonight. Hello also to Leon and Tammy who are watching tonight too. Okay, one of the other big things that really causes inflammation is, of course, inflammation itself. Let's take a look at the screen. Here's one of your triggers. It can be inflammation for inflammation's sake. So how often is it really hard to find out what the trigger is? You've just got inflammation. What do you do with your gut?
So again, we always look at the diet. So there are foods that are inflammatory. So if someone's, living on chickpeas,
yes,
we might go,
that might not work.
Maybe they're causing some gas. So, it's like do the basic level of detective work and then you can delve deeper. Sometimes it's actually anti-inflammatories, which are, needed for an injury.
Yes.
But long-term use are actually really damaging to the gut. So if you are needing to use anti-inflammatories, and sometimes you have to because it's more important to get the inflammation down than, to freak out about your gut for a couple of days. But really make sure you have a good amount of food in your gut so that there's less damage done.
Great.
And also there are some beautiful natural anti-inflammatories.
I was going to ask about that. I know I've done live streams talking about turmeric lattes, which are loaded with turmeric, which is a natural anti-inflammatory and delicious at the same time. So there are natural remedies you can use.
There are. I mean, fish oil is naturally anti-inflammatory. Digestive enzymes, many of them are bromelain and papain. So a lot of things are in our food. But also I often say to people, we will look at what they're eating. It's like, well, if you're going to keep eating this food, that is inflammatory. So some of the best anti-inflammatories, particularly if you're in pain, are stop eating inflammatory foods.
That's what worked for me, to be fair.
Yeah.
Changed my whole life.
Yep.
Wow. Okay, so Raja's just messaged and said, you are the guru. My glass is always empty to learn from you, Lynette.
Oh, great.
There you go. So on that point, if somebody's got inflammation in their gut, I always thought you take a probiotic for that and it balances everything and everything's okay. That seems to be the common kind of belief that's out there in media as well, that a probiotic will do everything for your gut. Is that true?
It does a lot for your gut, and particularly if it's a really short-term thing. So you've had maybe an antibiotic, which is an antimicrobial.
Yep.
So you want to put in an antibacterial. So you want to quickly replace that good bacteria that it's wiped out as well. But the way I like to look at the gut is as if it's a wall. And if you can imagine for a moment, put your imagination caps on.
Thinking.
And you're going into a house that you're renovating. And you have a look at the wall and it's like, oh my goodness, there's mold on it.
It's a bit gross.
Yeah, it's got bits peeling off it. It's even got some,
graffiti on it,
maybe. And maybe someone's punched through that wall as well. It's got a few holes in it. The last tenants weren't very respectful of this wall gut. And you come in there with your probiotics, which are like the paint that you go, I'll just paint over that. That looks better, and it does. And so it's a little bit better. It looks a little bit better. But it's not a long-term solution, right? Yeah. So that's what a lot of people are doing. They've got this gnarly old wall, and they're just painting it. So we need to turn that around and go, let's address the wall. So let's take the things out that might be making it worse. So let's get rid of the mold and the causes for the mold. Right. Let's scrape off that wallpaper. We might need to take it right back to the bare boards and put some more jib on there. We still can't paint it with probiotics. Yes. So as a naturopath, we do work with it at this level, getting rid of the gunk and actually building that wall lining up and really trying to heal that gut through all manner of things.
That's such a great description.
Yep, and then we seal it.
Yeah.
Prebiotics.
Of course.
And
that's
then,
like paint sealer, of course.
then let's paint it with probiotics. So we need to find out, and sometimes digestive enzymes are in there as well, finding out which part of the wall or all of the wall that needs to be sorted out, not just always probiotics.
Got you. Sajid Khan just said, great info. Thank you. You are welcome. And we are live by the way. So if you've just joined the stream, we're talking about your gut health. You are welcome to ask questions tonight because we are, see, look at that. She's alive right now. And we're more than happy to chat around any questions you might have about your own health, in particular related to your gut, because it seems to be the second brain controlling your health, making your health decisions. So, okay, so probiotics are important, but they're not the only answer, it seems. No. They're just a part of the picture.
That's right.
So let's talk about the next point. Does age have something to do with your gut health, Lynette?
Well, I think the simplest way to explain age is look at the outside skin. And if it's looking a bit tired and haggard and struggling to keep up with the cellular turnover process, you pretty much know that same aging
going on.
Yeah, so the inside's aging as well. So of course it takes longer to turn things over. Our outside skin is thinner. Our inside skin is more delicate as well. So age is natural. So again, we want to be looking at how hard we're treating our body. Sometimes those softer foods are better, and less of the chemicals. Also with age, there's often a lot of medications coming in now, and they can really affect it as well.
Side effects and things like that. I hadn't taken that, I didn't think of that.
And with Hemaview, we're very, very kind to people who come in. We're always kind as a naturopath anyway, because it's not a judgment on your character that you have something wrong with you, but we are very careful to take into account the natural aging process. So we're not expecting your blood cells to all be perfect. We are expecting some little changes in there.
Gotcha. Now, if you are concerned about your health and you've just joined the stream, you can actually contact Lynette through her Facebook page. So that's under the name My Remedy, which you can see the graphic there. On the bottom of the screen, or you can head to, if you just Google myremedy.co.nz, well, that's the web address basically. You can get in touch with them and find out the other services. There's a screenshot of the website right now. You can find out what they do and learn about their other amazing practitioners who are on board to help you with your health. So hello and welcome to tonight's show, Joe Robertson, who's watching, and Raja just messaged in and said, by the way, Monika's totally changed ever since she followed your advice, Lynette.
Yes.
Coming to know that she is carb intolerant. She's totally a Benjamin Button right now. So people have actually been talking to me about the fact that they think I'm getting younger, considering we were just talking about age. As my health is improving, I actually look younger now, even I think, than I probably did about 7 or 8 years ago. Is that something that's a byproduct of my change of lifestyle and my healthy eating?
Of course. I mean, we are what we eat, aren't we? And your inner health does show on the outside. And I personally have loved watching your journey.
It's been funny.
It's been really entertaining. But just watching you're so confident. You look so beautiful. You're comfortable. And everyone should feel like that.
No more diarrhea, no more carbo coma, and now I actually run. So that's been amazing. So thank you for your help, and a big shout out also to Audrey from NutriSearch, who's been a part of my journey as well, helping me with my genetic testing. Yeah. So we're going to talk about that on another show because it's a truly amazing process. Right, so we've talked about age. Okay, the impact of gastrobugs on your health. Like you think, gastrobugs aren't that bad because at the end of the day, they give you a good clear out. Maybe that's not entirely true. What are your thoughts on the effects of the gut?
It was really, really interesting when in New Zealand we had the bacteria in the water, and there were really serious gastrobugs and people were very, very sick, and it overwhelmed many people's guts. So some people's guts were strong enough, their microbiotic sponge was able to cope with it, because not everybody got sick, but other people that were more elderly or very, very young, or people who already had issues, people with celiac disease, or children who already had intolerances, they got hit really hard by that. So again, it's not always going to be one size fits all, but if your flora is interrupted very deeply, if your gut is damaged deeply, then again you just go back to that wall.
Oh,
we need to
right.
get in there and maybe do a little bit more than some probiotics.
You've got to clean that up
Absolutely.
and before you can paint it.
And also sometimes you need antibiotics at this point as well, where, you know, there is more than your body can get on top of. So we need to treat it and get that infection down, but then we need to come in and do some seriously, you know, heavy work, restoring that wall and getting it back to premium.
Okay, so let's talk about the effects of the gut then. I know there's some of my followers are watching tonight's stream and they're with me on their own weight loss journey. So how can your gut impact your weight as well?
Well, absolutely. And one of the big things is things like cravings. So if you've got a sugar craving, if you've got dysbiosis and you've got sugar cravings, it is just such a tough battle, you know, because your body's asking for something that we know that sugar is probably the last thing to go to. If you're not digesting, then what are you doing with it? Are you storing it? You know, is it toxic? Are you needing to, you know, store toxins in fat cells? Do you need to sort of cool down your body, you know, through your thyroid so that you don't burn that toxic waste? You know, there's so many aspects.
That's great.
And the main thing is inflammation. So if someone is really struggling to lose weight, we need to find out why. Is it the food you're putting in?
Yep.
Are you adrenal? Is your gut healthy? Are you eating inflammatory foods? Because if so,
that's a big one.
You know, stop that.
That's a big one.
Yeah. So it's all about that detector, finding out, you know, what it could be, and then sort of working to support all the systems so that you can actually, you know, meet your targets.
Absolutely. And I'm a firm believer that the key factors in my own weight loss journey have been understanding my menu. So basically the foods that I eat, whether they fuel me or inflame me, understanding the power of my mindset to influence the choices that I make, also understanding that deep-seated programming that can self-sabotage my own progress or my success, and also looking at the environmental factors that can contribute to obesity, even your genetics. It all plays out in your body. You can tell so much from somebody when they come to see you, right?
Yeah, you can.
So if somebody presents with some of those symptoms to your clinic, so I know that some of you are watching tonight thinking, oh, some of that resonates with me. I know that's been part of my journey. If somebody turns up to your clinic, My Remedy in Browns Bay, just shout out to you guys, what do you do? So when it comes to leaky gut, how do you deal with it?
So the first thing that we do is find out all the information of your history. You know, what's gone on? Has there been food poisoning? Has there been a gastro bug? Has there been a reliance on certain medications? When did it happen? When was it good until? What have you noticed? Have you noticed any foods that are troubling you? Have you, you know, do you have skin rashes? Are there headaches? Are there times of day? Is it as soon as you eat, is it? You know, there's so many things we ask about.
Most people want to go to sleep at 3 p.m.
Carb coma.
Carb coma.
And, you know, we'll be looking at all of those things. We'll also see what medications they're on or what supplements they're taking. Has it worked? Hasn't it worked? So we work for about 90 minutes in our initial consultation, and we always wish we had longer because we're getting to know the whole person, everything about them. So that's what we do first. And also at My Remedy, our practitioners will offer HemoView, which is live blood screening. And that looks at, well, okay, with all of that, how does the blood actually look? So through hematology, what are we looking at? We're looking at microcytes and macrocytes. We're looking at platelets. These are all things that tell us how well it's working on the inside. And also, do we need to do anything? You know, it really helps us to work out right now the best thing for you is this.
Excellent.
And we look at making changes. We try not to do too much because otherwise you just can't keep it up, as you know.
I know firsthand. It can be really challenging, but there are answers and support out there is support available.
That's right. And of course I can't mention the specific supplements, which would be a waste of time anyway, because
nobody will remember.
Well, also what you may need, your friend may not need. So it's really individualized medicine.
Well, the team at My Remedy are an incredible collective of healthcare professionals. Whether it's your physical body that you're looking at, whether it's your insides through HemoView, whether it's the power of your mind through hypnotherapy, or something gentle like homeopathy. They cover all of those modalities. In fact, let's take a look at what My Remedy offers right now while you guys are with us.
Have you ever considered that symptoms are often the outward sign of something deeper and can just be the body's way of saying, help me? The great news is that even small changes from the inside out can affect your whole health outcome. So, are you ready to make positive changes? The team at My Remedy work with you to find solutions for optimal health and can help you with many health challenges. Their team of qualified and registered naturopaths are there to help with any health condition: gut health, skin conditions, adrenal fatigue and immune health, cardiovascular and men's health, and nutritional health. At My Remedy, they also have a registered homeopath and hypnotherapist who are there to help with the deepest challenges to your health, your beliefs, your fears, your habits and behaviours. So if you're ready to create better health for you and your family, try a different approach. Visit myremedy.co.nz or give them a call on 09486 2175. My Remedy. It's your remedy.
Well, it is nearly time for us to head away. So we've got a couple of comments that have just come through the news feed. Quick sum up from us and then we'll leave you guys. But just to let you know, every month we'll be delivering a long form show like this. It's your opportunity to ask questions. And then in between these bigger shows, you'll see every week a new little health bite coming out through the My Remedy Facebook page, which of course we'll share through our Facebook pages. That you can share as well. In fact, if anything's resonated with you tonight, or maybe you've got a family member or a friend who might need to see this information, please like it, please share it, because that's the only way we can get through the challenging algorithms of Facebook to get this health message out to more people. So please be part of this journey. Help yourself and help everyone that you love and care about by sharing all of this information. So finally, before we head away, if somebody's in a position, what do? They come and see you and the team?
Absolutely. Give us a phone call, and what we often do is find the perfect match for you. So like I say, we've got quite a few therapists there, practitioners there, and all of us have our little fields that we have speciality. So if there's someone, have a look at the website and see if there's someone that you resound with, and just get in touch. If we need to talk you through and answer your questions, we'll do that. Just give us a phone call. Our phone number has changed. It's 479-1171, but anyone ringing on our old number will always get through. But give us a call, send us an email, just start the conversation.
Absolutely. Now, Raja's just said, Monika's the hero, yay. Oh, so sweet. Why, thank you. Actually, I'd have to say Lynette's the hero. She was the one who steered me in the right direction and actually opened my mind up to other ideas when it came to taking control of my health. So for that, I will be eternally grateful, Lynette. So cool to have you on board as part of my own health and wellness team. And also Matty Blythe just said, oh, you're doing great, Monique. So are you, Matty. I have to say, I was so inspired by you. Get talking, people. Chat with us through these different pages, whichever page you're watching on. Ask questions, share this with your friends, be part of the conversation. We also have a Health Bites Facebook group as well. So if you don't feel comfortable asking questions through this platform, you can join that Facebook group as well, or you can even send us personal messages. We're more than happy to connect you with the right person to help you on your journey. So before we head away tonight, look, Lynette, thank you so much for being part of tonight's show. I love chatting with you, and feel free to get in touch. So there's the contact details. You can email health@myremedy.co.nz, or you can give them a call, 09479 1171, or visit their website and scope them out. Check them out and see what it is they really do. An extraordinary group of health professionals ready to help you out. Any final thoughts before we finish up tonight?
Well, I would just say enjoy that pizza. It might be the last slice you have.
Oh! Unless you make a low carb one.
Oh, yes.
Like I do. Awesome. You're going to see a bit more of Lynette over the next few weeks. She's going to pop into my Wednesday night shows as well over the coming weeks. So again, if you have any questions, send Lynette a message or feel free to send them my way, and I'm happy to point you in the right direction. A big thanks to everybody watching tonight and to Pete Ward, our producer and director, for making this magic happen. He's a true genius.
Yes.
Lynette, thank you.
You're welcome.
Thank you, guys. Be careful, be safe, and live the most joyful life you can. I'm Monique Bradley, Lynette Hill. That's all for tonight. Thanks so much. Bye-bye.